Hello, Angela Meiritz-Reid here, Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Christchurch, New Zealand. Today I'm sharing with you how I created this pretty handmade card. So I started with a Flirty Flamingo card base, so I've got that ready here and set aside. And then next I'm going to do this panel here, which is just with basic white and the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. So just put that in there and bring in my machine to emboss that. This is one of my favourite embossing folders. Just gives a lovely subtle background. It's one of those embossing folders that is one of my go-tos. You see the lovely pattern on that. So next I'm going to do the watercolor panel. So I've got, this is the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. Bring in some scrap paper. So I'm going to, it is actually cut down, but I'm going to use the whole piece, and then we'll use the other bits maybe for other projects later on. So I have got a water painter. I've been using it. You can see it's coloured the water a bit, but that's fine. And I've got the Flirty Flamingo ink and a block. I'm just going to put some of the ink onto the block. And with watercolouring, I find sometimes it goes how you want it, other times not so much. It can be a bit random, but hopefully it will be okay. So what I do is just add water onto the watercolour paper, and I just find squirting it out from the water painter works well. So just sort of splush it around, and I don't worry too much if there are gaps, because that gives you some gaps like that, just adds to a bit of interest. And then once I've got the water on there, and it probably is quite good that it's a little bit tinted so you can see where I've put it, and I just add drops, just splotches of the colour, and it just does sort of organically splurt around. And the cat's here, she's letting herself be known. And then what I do then is bring in the heat tool and to move the colour around. So I just grab that, you can see what I mean. And what that does too, it gives variations in the depth of colour. You can add more into that if you want some extra bits of darker colour, and I just need to drop that in. Probably quite a lot of water on there. So yeah, as I say, just use the heat tool to move it around and get you colour variations. So I have actually made one already so that we didn't have to wait for that to dry. So that's that one there. So you can see how the watermarks, it's given all that different marbled sort of effect. So the next thing I'm going to do is trim that down. So that has been, actually just measure that, so it's about, it's 8 centimeters by 13.4, so I'll just trim that down. So when you're doing that, you just want to choose what area best suits for your card, or what you want on the card. So I do want some of those white bits. I think it adds a little bit of interest. So I'll probably do along there to 8 centimetres. And want a little bit of that white. I am in the camera, I wasn't sure. So I'll just do that. And then 14.4. Yeah, so that looks, yeah, I'm really happy with that. So you can just play around, and as I say, sometimes, you know, it works differently each time, so you just have to be a little bit prepared for that. So then I'm going to adhere that onto the embossed piece, and I like to use glue. I don't use glue with the shimmery white cardstock. I find that shows through, so I tend not to use that. And I do make sure I've got a reasonable amount of glue on the back, because it will, oh, maybe I've done that. I don't think I've measured that properly. I don't think I have, no. I'll redo that. 13.4, I'm a centimetre out. So I'll just have to decide which end. Just take a centimetre off there. That's going to be a bit gluggy on the, I'll have to worry about that later. Clean that off. So don't make my mistake, you end up with glue all over your trimmer. So then I'm going to just pop that into here, and yeah, we have the right size now. And as I say, I like the glue because it does mean I can move it around a little bit. Let's drop that down a little bit. And then I'm going to pop that straight onto the card base. A bit more glue. Just make sure that's even. And then the next thing is to die cut the butterflies. So these are the butterfly dies from the Brilliant Wings dies. And what I tend to do when I'm die cutting is cut some extras, because they're always handy. I just tuck them back in the envelope the dies come in. So I've got a slightly bigger piece of card than I put in the instructions, so you can do that, add a bit more. So as long as I get the ones on here that I need, maybe not that one, I'm going to put on. And I find with the intricate dies that it is good to go through a few times just to make sure it cuts the cardstock. Otherwise you can be poking little bits of you know, these little bits out all the time, so it's not too bad, but I think I will just go through again. Just take those ones off because they cut really easily. So just put those all on again. Hopefully that will just help poke out a bit easier. Right, so I'll get my Take Your Pick tool. It's fabulous for getting these sorted. Not too many seeds stuck, and they've coming out really easily, which is good. Yay, something going right this morning. One. Right, so that's all of them, and I've just got these two little ones here. Right, good to go. That's that done. And the next thing I'm going to do is emboss this piece of vellum. So I've got a strip here. I've got a strip that's slightly longer, so I've got plenty of room for trimming down and working exactly where I want it. Just stamp that in Versamark. Just have to make sure that it's straight. There's nothing worse than about the middle-ish. And a bit of gold gloss powder. You do need to be careful when you are stamping onto the vellum. So sometimes I find that the stamp pad, or the stamp actually can move a little bit. That's okay. I'll just heat emboss that. Done. So the next thing we're going to do is just work out the length. So I want that to just go over the edge there. So I usually just use my fingernail actually and just make a little bit of a mark. And so I know where to trim that. Turn that around and trim the other side. Vellum is good because it's a little bit forgiving, isn't it? You can't see totally where it begins and ends, so it's always good. Right, so I'm going to work out that's going to go about there. And I've got my butterflies, and what I'm going to do with those is just get some of the glue dots. And I don't want them stuck totally down. I like that they look like they are maybe fluttering around. So I just roll that up a bit and just pop that in the body of the butterfly. And I'll do another one at the bottom. See, that's a bigger one. And the same for the smaller one. So these other ones I'll just tuck away and use for another day. There. So then I want to work out where I'm going to put the butterflies so that I can adhere this down, so you won't see it. So that one there I'm going to pop about here. So if I work out, I can put an adhesive down there. And put one where I'm going to put that more solid butterfly, so about there. And just make sure that's nice and straight and lined up. And then tuck this one here over that glue dot, and this bigger one here, tuck that sort of along on an angle there. And this one here I'm actually going to pop over the bow. So I'll tie the bow, pop a glue dot down for the bow about here, gold trim, which I love and use so much of. Right, and then just trim off. Lost my scissors now. I don't know what it is with the crafties, but things seem to get lost easily. Right, and then I'm just going to tuck that in there. And then pop this on top. It doesn't want to do what I want it to do. Once I get the butterfly on top, it might just help. So I'll just put another glue dot on top of the bow. And then tuck that one in there. And then I've got the these little gems from my heart, faceted gems. This is so pretty, and just going to add a little drop of glue to adhere those on there. And up here, I'll do the same place as I did before. Makes life easy. And so I've used the ones in here that have got this subtle pink tinge. They're the Flirty Flamingo ones. There are Flirty Flamingo, not sure, red ones, and white. So they go with lots of things. Got a cute little sort of pearlescent sparkle. And might as well use the big ones up here. And yeah, that's it. So quite a simple card, but effective with the watercolouring, and you can see the different looks you get. I did have a bit of another idea. If you weren't, watercolouring wasn't your thing, you could use this beautiful paper, the Expressions in Ink paper, and I thought that, I'm not going to make it up now, but just to give you a bit of an idea with that paper, and then the same idea with the butterflies, lay it up, it would look really cute, and you know, do the same idea with the sentiment going across. So if watercolouring isn't your thing, there are always DSPs that you can use that will do a similar sort of look. But give it a go, it's fun, and it's always good to try something new. So thanks very much for watching, and hope you enjoyed this card, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks, bye.